What's up, everybody? You seem like some nice people, but you have a lot of friends. Tell them to like and subscribe, Suburban Nerd. But if you come with me on this review of it, you'll float too. 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 Well, that was fun. Yeah. This is the review of It. Remember, I'm Wes Grant, Suburban Nerd. Now, I'm gonna kind of just start off at a little bullet points of what I thought about and the people, the characters, and what they were and kind of what their spheres were. So I'm gonna break it down, and this is spoilers, so I'm giving you a warning. Well, it was a great movie. It was fun. It wasn't like scary as much as it was like exciting. It had thrills. It had moments where just oh shit. Yeah, but it wasn't so much like after you watch this you're gonna be not being able to sleep or like having the doors. It's not like when I first watched the Blair Witch Project, where you just anything you're just afraid of, or like Paranormal Activity, where like you just every creak. This is sort of like, it's not even on the level of say Freddy Krueger, because Freddy Krueger just made you afraid to go to sleep in general. But this was fun, and it made you think about what would your fears be if they would manifest and scare you. But it was fun. As far as the characters, Bill Skarsgård, he killed it as it. Pennywise, not to knock on the other one that was done, but Bill really stepped it up a notch. This It will be remembered in the great ones as far as Freddy Krueger, Jason, Michael Myers, all those. I think it did its justice, and he's got a part 2 coming up, chapter 2, so definitely looking forward to that. But as far as the characters, the kids, my number one standout, Finn Wolfhard. You know him from Stranger Things. In this movie, he's Richie, the foul-mouthed smartass. He had so many one-liners that you loved him. You knew like these things are sort of like the kids from like the Goonies and stuff like that. They remind you of that kind of camaraderie, like these kids. And there was like, when you had your friends, there was always one smartass. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if I was that smartass. I might have been, but I can't remember. But yeah, Richie, Finn killed it as him. Like, a lot of people are skeptical because of the character he plays in Stranger Things is more subtle, like more subdued. But Richie, it's just out there. Like the lines, like one of my favorite lines was when they were talking about how the Derry used to be a beaver catching town. He was like, well, it still is, my fellas, right? Like, no. Or the lines were like, man, like, why'd I have to pull the short stick to come in? If it was a dick measuring contest, I knew I would have won. Or like, this chick has been with enough dudes. The list is as long as my dick. And then the one the character, like Stanley's like, that's not saying much, But it's just the back and forth that made this movie so fun and so cool. Like, one of the other funniest parts was when everybody had saw it, but except Richie, and he was like, hold up. Are only virgins able to see this thing? Maybe that's why I'm not able to see this shit. It's like, just shut up, bro. He always had that moment of when it was kind of scary for him to lighten it up. And that's the one good thing about movies. Like, when you got scary, sometimes some people like to just keep getting scared, but then sometimes it's fun to have these, dark moments and then just a little bit of light just before it gets dark again, But Rich, Finn, and especially Finn Wolfhard, that's one of the most badass names, This kid, when he grows up, he's gonna be something, because he's already killed it in two of these things. And this Stranger Things season 2 coming up, I bet you he's gonna kill it just as well. So, Beverly, this chick, she's beautiful. She's a beautiful little girl. And I know, like, she's definitely gonna make her name for herself, because, like, she killed it in this movie, too. Like, I'm gonna keep an eye out for her, not like her dad did in the movie, because that's just weird. But I'm gonna keep an eye out for this girl, because, like, she definitely had some chops, She was up there, and she was, like, a strong woman. In fact, like, she was the most toughest, badass one out of them all. Like, like, she faced her fears, and I'm still trying to figure out if that was it,
or if that was the father. But either way, the father, I believe, survived. I think he just messed up real bad, just bleeding out the head. So, but yeah, the way she took him down, yeah, that chick can handle herself. Beverly, yes, and just like the whole picking on thing, like it was she was acted by Sophia Lillis, and just keep an eye out for that name, Sophia Lillis. The next one, Bill, who was the leader of the bunch, she he was believable. He was one of those people that, like, when something goes wrong, when they lose someone, that they just lose track of anything else that's important, and is just focused on finding that person. Like, this is a little boy. He was pretty much fearless, but also kind of stupid, because it's like he understood sort of that they had to stick together, go after it, but at the same time it's like they're kids. Of course they're afraid. You have no fear because you have nothing in your head. He had nothing to lose because he's going to save his brother. Everybody else is just they just want to survive. You were the one, so you're dragging them along. So it all comes back in the end. But Bill, acted by Jaden Limberher, he was really good. Next one, Eddie was a sickly boy, but he was fun too. Like, his lines were just so fun. He was always like talking about how the sick, or like the gray water is just pissing shit, man. It's like he was a fun one. He was definitely fun. He was a sickly kid, but it's in fact like he still went along with it because he was his friend. He liked that. The next one, Stanley, who's a Jewish boy, whatever. But Eddie was acted by Jack Dylan Grazer. Just remember that name. And then Stanley, who was acted by Wyatt Oleff, who was a Jewish kid that was, going to manhood, bar mitzvah, whatever that was. He was cool too. Like, he kind of fell in the background a good portion of the movie, but he was always there. Like, he was literally in the background, like behind things that were happening. And at some point, you didn't even see where he was. But he's behind there. But yeah, he had this little thing where like everybody would just throw down their bike and he would kind of like stand it up and put down the stick, whatever, so it could stand up. Just pay attention to that, like if you see it again. But he was fun. His fear was definitely great. I'm gonna go around with their fears real quick, but yeah, he was good. Mike, who was a black kid, he was good too. Same thing. He kind of fell in the background because you could definitely see who stood out front. But he was cool. He was his name is Chosen Jacobs. Like, how do you get a name Chosen? He's a chosen one. I don't know, but he was cool in it. Like like his whole family, Leonard's the fire, his fears. Going for Ben, who's acted by Jeremy Ray Taylor. He was definitely good. He was the exposition. He's the one to explain the things, the history of it, and he did a really good job. Like, when he got bullied, like I definitely could see the things, like all of them, the bullying. It all brought memories back because being a black kid growing up in an only white school, I definitely got beat up and picked on for no reason on a regular basis. Where the point was like you were trying to find ways to get home that they didn't take. Like I definitely understood this whole movie. I felt it. You know what I'm saying? So This the one thing about that movie that I really took to heart. Like, I really felt everything as far as what these kids were going through, except for the whole fear thing with the monster trying to kill me. But that's just another story. And then, but his thing, he had the New Kids on the Block, that between him and Beverly, that's really what I kind of like that. That's why there's a love triangle kind of between Beverly, Bill, and Ben. But and then the one other standout is Henry, the bully, acted by Nicholas Hamilton. He legit seemed crazy. Like, he put that on, and it's like, he seemed like he was legit crazy. Like, you would think he was in real life, but he's a nice kid in real life. And then the last one is Georgie by Jackson Robert Scott, little kid. We'll float too, we'll float too, you float too. Yeah, creepy little kid. And the way he died in the beginning, good lord, that's vicious. Like, in the miniseries, they didn't show it. They just insinuated he got, but they pulled, like, this thing earned its R rating, And little quick fun fact: the It movie was originally brought to WB by the Duffer Brothers. The Duffer Brothers wanted to do this, and if you don't know who the Duffer Brothers are, the Duffer Brothers directed and wrote wrote the script for Stranger Things. That's why you see sort of the same kind of vibe going on, because the Duffer Brothers, when Warner Brothers turned them down, they just took their story that was sort of like it based, inspired, and just brought it to Netflix, and then that's how that got made. So that's if you see kind of the same kind of vibe, that's why. But Andy Muschietti did his thing as far as directing this movie. This movie was great, fun. The way that at the end or floating, it all makes sense. Just think about it. Like when you say we float too, you float too. Look at the end and you'll see that with the tower, it makes a lot more sense when you think it was a floating of this kind when it's really this kind. And as far as their spheres, Richie, his fear was like with the being lost, and you saw like the poster. He just didn't know. Like he was like those kids that put on the front of being strong and like brave with a smart ass, but he's really afraid of being lost and being afraid of being alone. That's what that whole picture was. As far as Beverly, her fear was the father of how he abused her. So, but she faced that. That's what Pennywise would feed on. Bill, his was just the loss of his brother Georgie. That's why he would just do anything to find him and go after him. Eddie, he was afraid of sickness because of what his mom implanted in his head. That's why you saw the leopard and the disease. It's just a walking infection. Wyatt, well, because he was his manhood was coming around. That's why the lady, actually in the series, it's a beautiful lady that comes onto him and then turns him vicious. But he gets scarred for life if you see that thing when it came on his face. But that's why his fear. Mike, because of his parents watching them burn to death or whatever in front of him. That's why Pennywise was feeding off of that. Ben, what was Ben's? Ben's, he just really just went after. I can't quite remember what Ben's. Ben's was like with the history. So, with the library, being secluded, being alone. That's why that's how Pennywise kind of went after him, because he was just such a history buff. And Georgie was just fodder. But the overall, I'd give the movie like an A. The movie was fun, entertaining. It's like not so scary, but exciting. Like, there's kind of jump scares that caught you. But overall, I enjoyed this movie. Hopefully, you guys will too. Like I said, I give this an A. You're watching, I'm Wes Grant. You're watching Suburban Nerd. Remember, like, subscribe. I'm going to maybe try and put some notation things, some pictures and stuff down in the description below. And thank you for watching my review. Hopefully, you guys will enjoy the next review I put up. So, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye. Remember, you'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too.